We have one more question, and then we will take our 10-minute break. The last question of this section is, what can we do on a local level to ensure our votes equally matter? I'm especially concerned about gerrymandering, the diminishment of early voting times, and the long lines on election day at predominantly minority voting locations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a broken record, guys. I'm so sorry. You've got to vote. You've got to register people to vote. You've got to volunteer to register more people to vote. You've got to ensure that you're voting, your family members are voting. If you want to create real change as it relates to registering to vote, I mean, why don't we just have universal registration? Why aren't we making it easier and more accessible for folks to vote early? These are common sense solutions to empowering people with the most fundamental right that we have, and that is voting. And if those are the issues that you're passionate about, Secretary of State in Ohio, which is up in 2018, is your best opportunity to create that change. So again, find out who the candidates are that are running that share your beliefs, and then support them on the local level. Statewide offices and statewide campaigns are incredibly difficult. Candidates are looking for people on the ground all across Ohio, all across Kentucky, to buy in, to work, to knock on the doors, to make the calls. You are desperately wanted and needed, and there's no shortage of work for you to do to elect great people to office.
Aftab stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to say...
You've been stealing mine all night.
I was just going to say, I think we're just trying to use these same old approaches to voting. Now, I'm not naive enough to think that I know that the Secretary of State in Ohio, Husted, is Republican. I know that, so we have to get someone in office who is more receptive to doing things a little bit differently, but in terms of making voting more accessible. But we're just using such an archaic system. Why can't we have? Why can't you be born with the right to vote and you like opt out? Why can't we do like same-day voting? People can walk up as long as they're a citizen and have the right to vote. So I think we have to just try some totally new things relative to voting to make it easier. Obviously, we know why they're diminishing, voting hours in mostly Democratic areas. Older, and not older voters, but African American students. They just make it so difficult. So I think number one, it starts with running a good candidate for Secretary of State. It is easier said than done to run a statewide race, but we can make it happen. So I think we just have to change our approach to voting and what it looks like. I think some people just can't wrap their head around being able to register a vote the same day and then go vote. So I think we have to kind of use a little bit of creativity and innovation relative to how we approach voting, because if we don't do that, I think like the Board of Elections now is in Norwood, and it's a really beautiful facility, and it's really nice, but I'm a little nervous because for some people, they had to take 2 buses to get to Norwood. So I know it's like everybody's nice in the shiny thing, but I'm okay with the old thing as long as more people can get to it. So I think we have to kind of just challenge more on a local level. No disrespect to anyone in here, but as I pull my petitions the other day, or the other month to run for city council, all 3 or 4 names on the Board of Elections were all old white men, and that has to change.
I'm the only person that's going to turn into an old white man.
Yeah, so Chris is my brother, and he knows I love him dearly, but that has to change. I'm not opposed to like white men being on the board, but it just can't be all 4 of them. So I think, and no disrespect to the guys running, but they are all old. So there's room for Chris. Chris is not 40 yet, so there's still room for him on the young side. No, I'm just saying on the young side. But I said to say, even if we have some just younger thinkers on the board, like just some nuanced, like just have it. I feel very strongly that who's in these public offices need to represent the people that they serve. So we need to have younger people on there. We need to have people from different communities, and I think that's a way that we can start thinking differently about our approaches to voting, just having people, we need the experience, people who've been doing it for a long time. But there's a lot of, there's a lot of good things to being young. Sometimes you understand that people do things the way because it's always been done that way. But also sometimes things happen because no one's ever bothered to challenge it. And so I think that's why you need to have people who have different thoughts and bring different perspective and different lenses to how we approach voting, and starting with our Hamilton County Board of Elections and the makeup of that.
I'm just going to have to call something out here. So you keep talking about older people. So I'm an older person. And I will tell you that I know I'm younger at heart than some of the younger people you're talking about. So being young at heart, I think the point you're trying to make is people with new ideas, people who are open to new ideas. And I think that's very important, but that can happen with older people as well.
I really do feel strongly that it should represent from age, like the most beautiful thing about our city council that we have in Cincinnati is David Mann being, in his 70s and PG being 30. I think that's, again, in all perspectives and all diversities, your body of elected officials should look like you, no matter who you are. You should have somebody on that panel on the dais that look like you.
Great.